Hello, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with another episode of Napoleon Total War, and this is getting really interesting. So, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and take a moment, hit that like button. I'll pause here for a moment. We'll give you just another second. Okay, thanks so much for hitting that like button. It really helps me out a lot trying to grow the channel. Okay, we have been facing some setbacks here. Brandenburg, which I sort of kind of thought was secure in our rear for the Brandenburg, whatever you want to call it, up here in our rear has been taken, so we've got to turn and deal with that. And I want to also get Danzig here. So first we're going to move on Danzig.
Battalions ready. Begin siege.
And we're going to let the computer handle this one.
And honor.
We're going to peacefully occupy it, which I'm hoping will then okay, and we'll even spend the turn and repair. Get that repaired. Okay. Now, here's where we're going to have our real sort of battle.
Ready for order.
You guys come up over here.
For crown and country. Your Majesty. At the ready.
Yeah.
Forwards for crown and country. Ready and waiting for orders.
Yes, my lord.
And you come up here.
March. Waiting for orders. At the ready. March.
Get closer.
More orders.
Come up here.
March. Waiting for orders. At the ready. Slaughter them.
Now this battle we are going to fight because it's out in the open, hopefully on good terrain for us, and it doesn't matter that the computer would win. I just don't like, you know, the sort of siege mechanism that in there at times. Okay. We've got a bigger field. Nice that there's no tight bridges. And I think we're going to play an aggressive, Wellesley-like battle. Wellington, we'll call him that as his eventual title, really liked, oh, from the other side, okay, well, whatever. Really liked the idea of placing his army in such a place that forced the enemy to attack them. Now sometimes that, like, say, force might not be the most optimum title for it.
Damn this weather, sir. Wet powder makes misfires a certainty.
Oh, shut up. In that sometimes the enemy is marching rapidly to attack him, and he, which would sort of to some degree be the 100 Days campaign ending in the Battle of Waterloo, but he very much liked to set up a position and have the enemy not, and it isn't a passive defense either, it's a situation. Now I know I've talked about this before, but not everybody's watching this. Okay, well, I guess, oh, well, let's head over here. Is he'd like a place sort of like this, with the enemy in front there, and so he would set up his army here, and behind here, and sometimes maybe wait for the enemy to come to the top, and over the top and shoot up, or sometimes he did, as they neared him with their columns, he'd then move his army up to the ridge and shoot down and slaughter down on him. So it wasn't always the same plan by any means, but there is sort of a favored option. Okay, so, and there's multiple reasons for their favorability. Okay, so they've got the town, which I don't like the idea of, but okay. Okay, we're going to be sort of aggressive. I think we're going to see about... No, I think this flank is sufficiently wide enough to try to turn. Okay, guys. Now he's got all indirect firing, so it's not a big a deal, the heights, as it might be with more standard cannon. Okay, you guys come over here. But we're going to set you guys here. Okay. And here we're going to... See, I very much think of this as sort of like playing miniature warfare, miniature battles, miniatures. But in some ways much better, in some ways maybe not, but I know I've sort of connected with a few people on Twitter who are a miniature enthusiast from various periods. Don't know how many, like how much Gregory and a few of the other guys watch my channels at all. I know a few of them have at times, but this is very much the kind of thing that I sort of love. Alright, you guys here just for the moment. Yeah. Okay, do I have any other light infantry? Yes, okay. Oh, right there. Okay. Well, light infantry up. That's right about sort of where I wanted you anyways.
Infantry.
Yes, sir.
Line ready, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Infantry reporting. Infantry.
These are foot guards. Okay. Basically my reserves for, or at least until we get our reinforcements coming in. Okay, I'm gonna see about moving these riflemen at least up to this forest line here, maybe a bit further. I'm gonna move the artillery up to here and sort of bombard down in there, and move some of this and put, because the way they've done themselves out there, maybe a few units hidden out there that I don't see in the foresty here or something, is, and this is actually fairly smart for the AI, instead of just making a simple long, line along the front here, is to come and sort of smash here and roll up there is sort of my basic, and move the horse around to the rear flank of that. And okay, this is sort of cliffy here, so we don't want to move there. Okay, so that's going to be the start.
The withdraw button to the left of center on the battle.
Game paused, and we have reinforcements coming. Great. Okay, you guys, I know we have a time clock, so we're not going to, not time clock on me, but time clock, as the battle progresses. So we're not going to take huge amounts of time for, long-range cannonades that besiege the enemy, but we are going to try to do some level of preparation, as it were. Okay, and to sort of move up behind them, we're gonna get you guys. Well, right about there. Maybe they could fire on them. Yes, we do plan on advancing after that, but I sort of kind of want to do this somewhat controlled as to operations. Now, light infantry. You guys come up here and you're going to take fire here, maybe, or move closer until you do, but open order, hopefully few casualties. And more pin them. Like I said, well, actually, you know, let's see about moving these guys up into this woods here. And back over to here. Okay, is this the... okay, that's the limit of area of our tabletop. Okay. Like I've said to others, I love miniature warfare. I grew up playing mainly tanks, you know, micro armor, and before that sort of HO scale, or what they used to call HO scale. Tank battles with adults. I was most of the time the youngest person in the room. Growing up doing that, but I also love, you know, Napoleonic, because I never really played them. I'm not saying like I love them and played a lot. I played a little bit here and there with other people's stuff in my life, but I haven't played a lot. But I love them. I love the idea of the war game of them, you know, maneuvering the battalions around, rolling the dice to see, you know, the random chance of effectiveness that you have, and, you know, restaging or refighting, you know, I know there are a few people out there that want to refight the thing just sort of the way it happened, to sort of, if you will, to their point almost is to reenact it step by step, the battle, and to more or less get the same results. I like the idea of well, this is, you know, the idea that this is Wellington's army, what he had, and this is Junot's or whatever, Marshal Soult, or probably butchering these names. I'm not good with French names that I just read mostly. You know, this is what he had on that day, and this is the field and where they met. Okay, well, how could you have then do something different within the, you know, general formations, general, you know, capabilities of the troops at the time, not doing things that they would have never done, you know, but doing things that they might have done, but how could they have done it different? Not necessarily better, but different, and play it that way. I love that kind of ideas with war games. But I also really love, and something that I have painted up, one, well, Jacobite and Hanoverian army in 25mm lead figures, and that's the only one I've ever really painted, and at best I would say it's fair quality. Again, I sort of learned on it, and painting tartan on a 25mm figure is not easy. And about the time I was more or less done with that is about the time I gave up trying to play miniature warfare, miniature games. So I've never really played with the army that I painted up. I love the artwork of it. I would love to have, whether I ever, you know, I'd love to have the time to have, I don't know, like a Sunday afternoon war games, and have setting up either the place that I have or go to a place and have battles. That'd be fun. I would have fun doing that. But between the expense and all of that, I don't know that I ever plan on doing it. But I'd also just love to have the three-dimensional artwork. I know periodically people because it is sort of a male thing, but other men think, oh, these are just kids' toys. Well, they don't think that if I have of course, I would just have a print of a, painting, like sort of like I do have a nice print of the Culloden painting that I use at the sort of the background for the banner of the YouTube channel. They go, oh yeah, okay, that's sort of military art. Well, this to me is another form of military art that I would put up on the shelves, whether I would ever, have the little soldiers go up and go pew 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 at each other and play with them. That's not the point. The point is that it's like a three-dimensional figurine, and I also get this with memorabilia for movies. It just, a lot of that stuff is not nearly as close to my heart. To get Star Trek, Star Wars, Transformers or whatever, that it is 3D art. I get that very much, but it's just not my thing to want to collect that. So, okay. Oh, I hit the space button because I'm used to that, to being unpause and pause. Oh, well, they're moving. And they're changing formation. How interesting. Ah, this is maybe why they're moving and changing formation. Do I have control over these guys? Yes, I do. Okay, you come over here. You can command my cavalry. Rush fast. Which way are they facing now? Again, I hit the space bar because it's my usual pause. Okay, no, they're still facing me, but we're getting here. Whoever this general is, he'll take over these horse units once he meets up with them, and be the area command for that, while Wellington commands the main line. And again, I hit the space bar before this. Now let's speed this up a little bit. I just don't want these horse or others to get my command group without backup. Are they actually shooting at me with something more than artillery? Okay, uh-oh. Here they are. Oh, damn, they're shooting at my command group. That's not what I wanted to have happened. Let's go back to normal speed. Again, I hit pause. Damn, I'm so used to that. Okay, because they've, oh, what did I just, these guys, no, you kill them, make sure you're killing them. These guys here. Well, I don't know that this artillery is going to do me so well. Let's move you a little more to that way. You back these guys up. Rifles are going to move into your abandoned position. You're going to go in front of the artillery, but again, this artillery is mostly in direct fire. So that in itself shouldn't be a problem. Oh. Wellington. Sort of pissed that the other guy got so butchered. Or at least his command staff did. Oh, and again I hit the pause button. Or the space bar for the pause. Disentangle yourself to some degree. Yeah, start shooting at them rifle dudes. Not everybody's charging, but a couple of the units charge them. You guys go swing more to the rear. Swing a bit more to the rear. Yeah, I figured they'd probably try to do something. Okay. Pause. This time I didn't hit the space bar. Okay. Unlimber. Unlimber. I don't know how effective you're going to be from that range, but okay, yeah, you're still moving forward, you're still moving forward, you're going forward, you're going to there. Good. Yeah, come up and support the rifles. See if we can take them without forming square. They're gonna eat my riflemen, I think. Again, I hit spacebar. Okay. The artillery is gone. You guys come over here. You're the command group, right? Yeah. Okay, you're a little shot up and you're a little shot up. Okay. Didn't I unlimber you guys? I guess not. No, or maybe I did say to, but you're not.
Artillery reporting.
There we go. Oh. Damn, you don't hardly have any range.
Battery
You have better
reporting.
range.
Our men are running, sir.
Who's running? Oh, these guys. Okay. You guys run. Yeah, get out of here. Yeah, you guys save yourselves. Okay, you guys truly flee. Just get the hell out. Break and get the hell out. Okay. Okay, they've shot their main volley, so charge. Let's see if we can take it down. This is turning out to be much more of a muddle than I would want. Yeah, you keep moving forward. That is not what I want to have happen. I may end up losing this battle much much worse than I want to.
Ready? Yes, sir.
Obviously, I don't want to lose the battle at all. Okay, well that French unit's gone. Good. Pause again. There we go. Oh, did they form a square or something? Maybe. Keep attacking. You're stuck in. Get in and do as good a job as you can from there. Okay, guys, you move. Yeah, you move up onto their flank. Yeah, your line unit, you move. Don't know sort of why you're all spread out there, but okay. Are you coming forward, I hope? You are now. Yes, I know they're in square, which means they're mostly protected, but you're sort of too late now. Do what you can. Target them.
Our men are running, sir.
Okay, well, not the best option,
Ready?
of course.
Orders. Line companies, ready? Following orders. Infantry.
Okay, right now, guys, just mostly move in on the enemy. Wellington, come up, get your command
Our men
bonuses.
are running, sir.
Riflemen, okay, you get closer. This did not work out like planned.
Guns reporting.
Do what you can, though, before running away. Well, that was somewhat useful.
Infantry. Our men are running, sir.
Okay, well, I don't know where you're going, but come this way. Fall back a bit. Shoot at those guys. Stop. Stop, I'm afraid you're doing more harm than good.
Reporting.
I don't think you're shooting at all.
General staff, sir. Immediately. Infantry.
Well, I guess we're gonna win, but it's not looking like I'd like it to look.
Line infantry. Line infantry.
Form square, which is bad against my horse, or which is bad for my horses, but great for my infantry to kill them all.
We have killed their general, sir. Now they must
Specifically
pray.
target the square riflemen. Target the square. Come on, get those artillery pieces.
Glorious victory, sir.
Come
It's soon
on,
to be
shatter that
yours.
square. There we go. Shatter this square now. Horsey dudes. You horsey dudes. Go after these guys. Go after these guys running. Continue, because we're gonna, since we've had it as bad as we have, we're gonna try to shatter as much of these, kill off as many of these guys as we can, so that few flee. After all these guys.
One of our units has used all its ammunition, sir.
Okay, well, don't know what we're gonna do about that, but well, Wellington and his staff can charge here too. They're probably too far back, but get moving. Oh well, these guys still have a fair amount of enemy. I know I'm sending you in different directions. We're going to get all of them that we can. So hopefully the unit doesn't survive at all, but even if it does, it'll
Sir!
be utterly
Sir!
destroyed.
Our general is under attack.
Yes, I know, we sent him into combat, didn't we? Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
General staff, sir.
Oh, there's somebody still here.
Group order.
Take these guys out.
Yes, sir. On. General staff. Report.
Capture, kill, whatever these guys completely.
Dragoons. The men are fatigued, sir, and must rest a while.
Charge them. Can you get them before they get out? I think they're the last fleeing unit on the map. Come on, utter total victory here. Oh, there's a couple of guys going there. Well, two of them had the guts to stand and fight until they got overrun, but well, they're calling it a close victory, and I'm not disagreeing. A lot closer than I liked. Sort of kind of think I should have attacked with just one of the armies.
Shall defeat us.
And then, confident general, this man has basic understanding of the art of war. Good. Corporal and gold braid. Good. And of course we've captured the other region there. Now,
Yes, sir.
that's the in good shape unit. This is
Your
the
orders, Your
rather
Majesty.
beat up unit.
Your Majesty. Forward! Lord! Forward! Waiting for orders. Up! Sir! Anything more? Men! Forward! Yes? Men! Forward! Anything
Yes,
more? Forward! Up! Awaiting further orders. Troops! Forward! Lord! More orders? Men! Forward!
I want to make sure we have as much
Onwards! Your
force
orders,
as
Your
close
Majesty.
as possible here.
Waiting for orders.
then we're going to besiege them,
Settlement besieged.
which is not what I want to do, but it's what I think is best to do, because I don't know that I'm in a good shape to try to take it by storm for me to do it, and the computer looked a little too even, so hopefully we can wear them down. And I see another army over here and such, but we've just shattered one of their armies, and they also have these guys here. They might try to move to relieve. They might. Okay, well, since they might,
Sir!
I think these guys here should move to take that.
For battle. Siege them.
And we're just going to take it and let the...
We are mighty and unbound.
And we're going to peacefully occupy. That should sort of confuse the AI exactly as to exactly where they should go. Who they should attack or who they should relieve.
Lord?
Got this army here that's slowly working its way around. Back up to there, so come over here.
Forwards for crown and country. Ready for action. Yes, my lord. Orders.
There we go, that's sort of the one. Wanting to send that way.
Yes, your majesty.
These guys come over here.
Where to, Captain? Aye, aye, Captain.
There we go. Back and reopen the trade there.
Still shipshape.
There we go. Now here,
Orders.
okay, this is their brig, 5th rate, Razi. Razi, if you don't know. Okay, it's coming from some French term to raise, I believe. But what those vessels were is they were originally built as I don't know, a higher rated ship with more decks above them, and particularly you find a fair amount, the vessel stayed around, you might be surprised, for a long time. A lot of them did. Sort of mid-early 18th century, moving to the late 18th century Napoleonic era. They sort of kind of found that, you know, they had higher forecastles, forecastles in the front and higher sterns, and with more guns but less powerful guns, and they sort of found that all these extra guns weren't all that helpful. And so what they would do is and even sometimes they would take, if they were like 2 full levels of guns, not just the the forecastle and the stern castle, the stern, and take those down. But sometimes they would take it from like 2 complete gun decks to just down to 1 gun deck. So the second one up now becomes sort of the open main deck in parts, and just sort of cut the whole thing down more or less by level. And what this would do is you still had often at the lowest level, sort of because center of gravity on the ships, you had the biggest guns, and they also, as the wider part of the ship, so they could deal with the recoil coming in. So you could have the bigger guns there, and then what normally is your light deck guns up on top, which, say if it had been 2 full levels of guns inside the vessel, and then light deck guns up on top. By removing that top deck and turning parts of the old deck into the new forecastle and stern, sometimes called the quarter deck. It sort of depends, because some of these I'm talking about are we're all the way up at poop decks, another sort of deck way at the back, top high thing. But cut all those down, so you still have some covered areas fore and aft on it. But you'd have, instead of lightweight guns sort of on your open exposed deck, you'd have fairly heavy guns there now. Really heavy guns on the bottom, fairly heavy guns there, and you've reduced the overall weight on the ship incredibly by cutting down all the wood. Generally speaking, as we're talking, some sort of layer of guns, and also once you remove all those guns, often they were smaller guns, they use different ammunition, so you can either have entirely less ammunition. Generally you'd have less rounds, but you might keep the same number of rounds per heavy guns. You might increase it up just because you have the extra magazine space, but often you wouldn't. So you've reduced the amount of shot, which is particularly heavy, but also powder and other things. So you've reduced that weight. You've also reduced the amount of crew needed for the vessel, because a lot of the crew, sure, they go up into the rigging and change the sails, and that's rather man intensive, but also they have lots of crew just to man all the guns all at once efficiently and effectively. Well, since you don't have as many guns, you don't need as much crew. Now you've reduced their sleeping space as well, so because they normally sleep where the guns are, in hammocks at this time. So you're reducing the crew amounts down, which also means if you're maybe reducing the water storage on board the ship, or if you're keeping the same amount of water, you can stay at sea a lot longer. That's normally the determinant, but also food. So you're reducing the overall weight of the vessels while often keeping the same sort of sailing rig up above. You're not, as you're cutting down the excess sides of the ship. So a Razi, basically, I don't know if they've ever purposely built a Razi, but the idea of a Razi is that you're taking a bigger, slower ship, cutting it down, and so now it's incredibly faster. So you got all these sails on it. It's still it's still the thickness of the wood on the whole is more on heavier vessels, on bigger vessels, partially partially just for structural purposes, to deal with all the extra weight and stresses on it, but also partially because you build it to absorb cannon shot. The heavier vessels, they can stop. You get a lot of cannon shot, a lot of lighter stuff. Now the big heavy guns, they normally still penetrate. That's why a lot of the lighter guns were found to be not very effective, and we're sort of in the idea when a lot of the naval battles were, so when you sort of shoot at each other a bit and then you come in close and grapple, the ships over, sort of like you see in the pirate movies, and people maybe and well, generally it's thought at some point you're trying to storm the other ship, but by having a higher ship up there, one, it's harder to storm, it's more of a castle, stern castle, and two, you have more guns on there, often with canister or grape shot, being big shotguns, and trying to shoot the crews of the other vessels, or penetrate their upper works, their upper decking works that have thinner wood, so you can easily penetrate there. And so it was the English who were really some of the major people pushing the Razis, often with captured vessels, that they found. The French, they found their hulls were generally better at sailing. The mast systems were generally better done by the British. The British found really good sailors, not people, but ships, really good sailing ships, and then hauled them out of the water and measured and did all the work on their hulls to just see what they did and started to copy them. And that's how they got to, at times, to be as good or better than the French, because, again, they had better sail plans, generally speaking. The French, for the mid-18th century, had better hull designs, just doing better scientific water type stuff. So these vessels would have very, very sturdy hulls, very sturdy guns, and so they would be a 48 gun ship, but their hulls and their gun mountings would be as if they were in a 64 or 74 type gun ship, but again, like, cut down. And so they were really, really fast for their class weight, really good, and English liked using them. Now, at times, instead of a Razi building a bigger ship and cutting it down, they would just build and do a slightly better job building purpose-built frigates, as sort of what it would be at the time in there, and they eventually get really big guns. Fewer really big guns, still a lot, but and better design kind of thing as they would do. Now here we have a big first-rate plus 122 gun ship up here, plus one extra. So we're going to come up here. Well, now let's go up to here. He might sail away from me on this, so I don't want to attack him even if I sort of can quite get the distance this time. So we're going to come up nearby and see what he does. I am very willing to have a battle with him. And on that note, I think we're going to end this episode. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for liking the videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And, of course, I love hearing from you. Oh, no, cancel. We didn't quite get through the turn. I'd love to hear your comments, questions, suggestions, corrections. See you next time for more historical gaming.